Good morning, students. In the last class, we discussed very clearly about the covalent bond, how a covalent bond is formed between the two atoms in a molecule, and also we learned how to write the Lewis structure for a given molecule or ion. Today's topic is formal charge. What do you mean by the formal charge? Generally, in the case of the polyatomic ions, whatever the charge is present, that charge is contributed by the whole ion, not by a particular atom. That means, for example, carbonate ion is there, CO3 minus 2. Whatever this charge is present on this carbonate ion, it is not of a particular carbon or oxygen. It is contributed by all the atoms present in this ion. So how do you calculate this formal charge? So what do you mean by the formal charge? Basically, whenever the atom, before combining whatever the number of valency electrons are there, so the difference between that valency electrons and after writing the Lewis structure, for each atom we are allotted or assigned some number of electrons. The difference between the valency electrons whenever it is in free atom and the number of electrons assigned to each atom in the Lewis structure, that is called as formal charge. What do you mean by that number of electrons assigned to each atom in the Lewis structure? So here the two cases are there. We are assigning the number of electrons to each atom in the Lewis structure in two ways. First one is, so sometimes the electrons are assigned to formation of a bond between the two atoms. That means we are contributed or assigned to the shared pair of electrons. Sometimes the electrons will be placed on the atom as a non-bonding electrons. That is we called lone pair of electrons. So that means the lone pair of electrons present on the atom and the number of electrons participated in the formation of a bond are treated as the number of electrons assigned to each atom in the Lewis structure. So that the difference between the number of valency electrons and the number of electrons assigned to each atom in the Lewis structure is called as formal charge. So now here the formula of the formal charge is the formal charge an atom in a Lewis structure is equal to, what is the difference? First one, the number of valency electron in free atom minus the number of electrons assigned to the atom in Lewis structure. The number of electrons assigned in two ways. One is number of non-bonding electrons on atom and number of bonds around an atom. So the difference between these three, we get the formal charge. Now here, sometimes the formal charge may be 0. Okay, sometimes the formal charge may be positive or negative on each atom. So whenever the number of valency electrons in a free atom and the number of electrons assigned to each atom in the Lewis structure are same, the formal charges become. The number of valency electrons in free atom is more than that of the number of electrons assigned to the atom in the Lewis structure, then we get the formal charge as positive. Suppose if the number of valency electrons in free atom is less than that of the number of electrons assigned to atom in the Lewis structure, then we get formal charge is negative. That means the formal charge may be positive or negative or 0. And what is the use of this formal charge calculation? The formal charge is help in the selection of the lowest energy structure from a number of possible Lewis structure for a given molecule or ion. Suppose a molecule is given to you or an ion is given to you and first you write the Lewis structure. So there are more number of Lewis structures are possible. Okay, if more than one Lewis structure is possible for a given molecule or ion, so which is the correct Lewis structure, which one will be taken into the consideration? In that cases, so we have to be consider the Lewis structure which is having the lowest energy. How should I know which is having the lowest energy? Is nothing but simply, so whichever it is having the lowest formal charges on the atoms, so that is always treated as the lowest energy structure that will be taken into the consideration. So for that purpose, this formal charge is used for. The formal charge is different from oxidation state. It is not, both are not same. It is different. That is, you can learn in the coming chapters what is oxidation state. The oxidation state and formal charge is not same. Okay, the formal charge is nothing but the difference between the number of valency electrons in a free atom and the number of electrons assigned to the atom in a Lewis structure, that is called as formal charge. So let us take some example and how do you calculate the formal charge of each atom. So that is we will discuss now. So let us take that example, O3 molecule. This is called ozone molecule. So this ozone molecule is made up of the same type of atoms, that is oxygen. You all know oxygen atomic number that is equal to 8, 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. 6 valency electrons are there. So totally the 3 are same atoms. 3 into 6, that is 18 electrons are there. 18 electrons means 9 pairs. So before calculating the formal charge of each oxygen atom in the ozone molecule, first you write the Lewis structure of ozone molecule. Now I write the 3 oxygen atoms. And commonly each oxygen atom is linked together with one bond first. I write the 1 electron pair here, 1 electron pair here. Then I will try to arrange that 1, 2 is over 7 pairs are there. First you can fulfill the octet in the case of this oxygen atom. 2, 4, 6, 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is over. The 4 more is left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 pairs are over, only 1 pair is left. That is I kept it on this one. So by distributing the 9 pairs of electrons between the oxygen atoms as a shared pair as well as a lone pair, these 2 oxygen atoms are getting the octet configuration because 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8. But the central oxygen atom 2, 4, 6, it does not get the octet configuration. So that instead of keeping one lone pair of electron, the oxygen atom, I will keep the one pair of electron as a shared pair of electron between the 2 oxygen atoms. So that 2, 4, 4, 8. This oxygen atom getting the 8 electrons. This oxygen atom is already getting the 8 electrons. Here 2, 4, 6 and 8. Totally all the 3 oxygen atoms are getting the 8 electrons by keeping between the 2 oxygen atoms 2 single bonds. So the 2 bonds, and in between another 2 oxygen atoms by keeping one single bond, the remaining pair of electrons placed on the oxygen, each atom are getting the octet configuration. So that what should I write the structure is here simply. So oxygen and here oxygen and here oxygen, and between these 2 oxygen atoms I write as the double bond, that is written with 2 single lines, here single bond. And what are the lone pairs are present on these oxygen atoms? So 2 lone pairs are present, here 1 lone pair is present, here 3 lone pairs are present. Like that, first we need to write the Lewis structure. After writing the Lewis structure, so then we can calculate the formal charge of each atom in a given molecule or ion. While calculating the formal charge of each atom or in a molecule or ion, definitely we need to be labeling whenever the atoms are same. Because in this molecule, all the 3 oxygen atoms are same. That's why we need to be labeled. Whenever a molecule is made up of different atoms, there is no need to be labeled because it is not possible to confuse. That's why here I am labeled as this is A oxygen, this is B oxygen, this is C oxygen. First we can calculate the formal charge of oxygen atom which is labeled as A, and formal charge of oxygen atom B next. After that we can calculate the formal charge of oxygen atom is C. calculate the formal charge of atom in a given molecule or ion. You know very well the formula. Formal charge of an atom in the Lewis structure is equal to number of valency electrons in free atom minus number of non-bonding electrons on atom minus number of bonds around an atom. First, let's go for the A oxygen. That means the formal charge of oxygen atom, which is labeled as A, capital A, is equal to number of valency electrons in free atom. Whenever oxygen is free atom, how many valency electrons are present? 6 valency electrons are present. So that's why I write as 6 minus. And how many non-bonding electrons on that atom in the structure? How many non-bonding electrons are there? Here 2, here 2. Totally 4 electrons. You write as 4 minus. And how many bonds around that atom? Around this oxygen atom, how many bonds are there? 2 bonds are there. That's why we write as 2. So 6 minus 4 minus 2, that is equal to, what is the formal charge of oxygen atom is 0. Then we go to the next one, B. The formal charge of oxygen atom, which is labeled as B. Is equal to, again oxygen atom, same number of valency electrons are present, 6 minus number of non-bonding electrons on atom. How many electrons are present? 2 electrons are present. 2 minus, so number of bonds around that atom. How many bonds are present? 1, 2, 3. Totally 3 bonds are there. So 6 minus 2, 4. 4 minus 3. That is equal to plus 1. Then go to the formal charge of oxygen atom, which is labeled as C. Formal charge of oxygen atom, which is labeled as C. Then is equal. So now the number of valence electrons are, you know very well, that is 6 minus how many non-bonding electrons are present? 2, 4, 6, 6 minus how many bonds present around this oxygen atom? Okay, only 1, that is 1. 6 minus 6, 0, 0 minus 1, you get minus 1. So the formal charge on the oxygen atom, which is labeled as C, is minus 1, which is labeled as, that is plus 1, the A is 0. That means in the case of the oxygen atom, which is labeled as, there is no difference between the number of valency electrons in free atom and the number of electrons assigned to the oxygen atom in the Lewis structure. But whereas in the case of B, you are getting the plus 1. So plus 1 means the number of valency electrons assigned, okay, to the oxygen atom is less than the number of valency electrons in free atom. That's why you are getting the positive charge. And here the number of valency electrons in the oxygen atom is 6, but the number of electrons are assigned to the Lewis structure is minus, that is 7. It is more in number. Whenever it is more in number, you are getting the negative. Whenever it is less in number, you are getting the which one? Positive. Suppose if the same number of electrons as the number of valency electrons in free atom and the number of electrons assigned to the atom in the Lewis structure, then you are getting the formal charge is 0. So like that, we are getting here 0, here plus 1, here minus 1. Totally plus 1 and minus 1, that is balanced. So that's why oxygen, the ozone molecule is said to be here, okay, does not carry any charge. So like that, we are calculating the formal charge of each atom by using this formula, that is formal charge of an atom in the Lewis structure is equal number of valency electrons in free atom minus number of non-bonding electrons on atom minus number of bonds around an atom. So the next example is carbonate ion, CO3 minus 2. So in this case, we need to calculate the formal charge of carbon and 3 oxygen atoms. Before calculating the formal charge, first let us write the Lewis structure of carbonate ion. The carbon first. In the carbon, So that is Z is equal to 6, you know very well. 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. The number of valency electrons are 4. And oxygen, Z is equal to 8. That is, so 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. So totally, the 6 valency electrons, 3 oxygen atoms are there. That's why 3 into 6, 18 electrons. That is, we write simply 6 into 3. And it is carrying the negative charge, that is -2, so that whenever the negative charge is carried by an ion, we need to be add the electrons. Here the -2 is there, so that we need to be add the 2 electrons. So this is because of that negative charge. Totally 24 electrons are there. This 24 electrons means 12 pairs. 12 pairs are there. The 12 pairs we need to be assigned to the carbon and oxygen atoms. First, among the carbon and oxygen, carbon is the least electronegative atom. That's why first I write the carbon, C, in the middle. And oxygen, each oxygen is attached to the carbon atom. Now, out of the 12 pairs, first I can keep the 3 electron pairs between the 3 carbon and oxygen bonds. Here 1, and here 2, and here 3. After that, I need to be satisfy the octet configuration by keeping electrons as a lone pair of electrons on the each oxygen atoms. 3 are over, 9 is left. So here 6 are needed. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 is completed, 6 more are left. Here I need to write the 3. Okay, fine. So here also I write the remaining 3. Totally 12 pairs are completed. So by keeping the one shared electron pair and the 3 electron pairs, and the remaining are placed as a lone pair of electrons on each oxygen atom, only 3 oxygen atoms are getting the octet configuration. But the central atom, carbon, it is surrounded by only 6 electrons. That means it does not satisfy the octet configuration. So we need to take the one more arrangement. Whenever the single shared pair of electron is not satisfied, so the octet configuration, we need to keep one more shared pair of electron between the carbon and oxygen here. So that I write here between oxygen and carbon. Not only here, your wish. Either you can keep electron pair between these two or these two. Your wish, that is. I can keep here. By this one, already all the oxygen atoms are getting the octet configuration 2, 4, 4, 4, 8, 6, 2, 8, 6, 2, 8. Now what about the carbon? 2, 4, 6, 8. All the 3 oxygen atoms and carbon getting the octet configuration by distributing the electrons like this. So then what is the Lewis structure for this one? Carbon, here double bond O, and here what is it? Single bond O, and here single bond O. And what are the lone pairs are present on this one? Here the 3 lone pairs are present. Here 3 lone pairs are present. Here only 2 lone pairs are present. Then what is the charge is carried? Overall -2 charge is carried by this carbonate ion. Like that, first we need to write the Lewis structure. After writing the Lewis structure, we need to calculate the formal charge of each oxygen atom and carbon atom. Because here all the atoms are same except carbon, so that we need to be labeling. So this oxygen atom is labeled as A, and here B, and here it is C, and the carbon is different from oxygen, there is no need to be labeling. First we need to calculate the formal charge of which one? Carbon. So formal charge of carbon. Carbon is equal. The formal charge of carbon is equal to the number of valency electrons in free carbon atom. How many valency electrons are there? 4 valency electrons are there. 4 minus the number of non-bonding electrons on the carbon atom. No non-bonding electron is present, that's why it is 0. And number of bonds around the carbon atom. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 bonds are there. 4 minus 4, that is equal to 0. That means the formal charge on the carbon is 0. Then go to the formal charge on the oxygen, which is labeled as A. Formal charge of oxygen atom, which is labeled as A. Labeled as capital A is equal to. How many valency electrons are present in the free oxygen atoms? You know very well, that is 6 minus. So, how many non-bonding electrons are present on the oxygen atom, which is labeled as A? 2 and 4. 2, that is 4. Totally 4 electrons minus number of bonds around that oxygen atoms. 2 bonds are there. 6 minus 4 minus 2. That is, again we get the 0 of formal charge of oxygen atom, which is labeled as A. Then go to the, so in the case of the B, the formal charge of oxygen, which is labeled as B, capital B, is equal to. Then again the oxygen, 6 valency electrons are present. How many non-bonding electrons are present? 2, 4, 6. 6 minus 6. Minus, how many bonds are present around this oxygen atom? Only 1 bond is present. 6 minus 6 minus 1, that is equal to minus 1. Similarly, we need to calculate the formal charge of oxygen, which is labeled as C. That is equal to, simply we write again that 6 valency electrons, 6 non-bonding electrons are present, 2, 4, 6, 6 minus 6 minus, here the number of bonds around the, so this oxygen atom, only 1 bond is present, that's why 1. 6 minus 1 is equal to, what is it? Minus 1. So out of the 4 atoms in the carbonate ions, 1 carbon atom and oxygen, which is labeled as A, their formal charges are 0. But the rest of the 2 oxygen atoms, which are labeled as B and C, in that cases the formal charge is found to be minus 1 in each case. That is clearly indicates, so in the case of the carbon and oxygen, which is labeled as A, there is no difference between the number of valency electrons in a free atom of carbon or oxygen and the number of electrons assigned to the carbon and oxygen in the Lewis structure. But whereas in the case of the oxygen atoms, which are labeled as B and C, so the number of valency electrons in free atom is less than the number of electrons assigned to the oxygen atoms, which are labeled as B and C. That's why that is less than the number of valency electrons are less than is there. That's why we are getting the minus 1 in each case as a formal charge. Like that we can calculate the formal charge of each atom in a given molecule or ion. So by using the formula once again, formal charge of an atom in the Lewis structure is equal to number of valency electrons in free atom minus number of non-bonding electrons an atom minus number of bonds around an atom. You can also practice more number of the molecules or ions. In that cases, what are the formal charges of each atom present in their respective molecules. So the next topic is exceptions to the octet rule. So what is octet rule? An atom must possess 8 electrons in their valency shell for its stability. So this is that rule can be applied for so many molecules, but in some of the molecules we may not be applicable. So therefore we are nothing but simply exceptions. So where this octet rule is not applicable. So go to the first one is hydrogen molecule. So you know very well, hydrogen molecule is the combination of 2 hydrogen atoms. So H and H, hydrogen and hydrogen atom. Each atom is contributed 1 electron. So for formation of a bond between the 2 hydrogen atoms. And as a result, each hydrogen atom getting the only 2 electrons, that is we call duplet, 2 electrons. Because it cannot accommodate more than 2 electrons, because n is equal to 1 first energy shell, only 1s orbital is possible. So in these cases, the 8 electrons are not possible according to the octet rule. But however, the hydrogen molecule is a stable molecule. That means it is not possible to apply the octet rule in the case of which one? Hydrogen molecule. And it comes to the next exception to the octet rule is incomplete octet of the central atom. In some of the molecules, okay, the central atom, okay, does not complete the octet, just like the hydrogen here. For example, let us take lithium chloride is there. What is that example? Lithium chloride. So in the lithium chloride, the Lewis structure of the lithium chloride is lithium and chlorine. So the bond present between these two by sharing of one electron, and in the rest of the cases, so 2, 4 and 6, 8. Because in the lithium, the electronic configuration of lithium is 1s2, 2s1, chlorine is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5. So valency electrons in the lithium is 1, valency electrons in chlorine is 7. 7 plus 1, totally 8. 8 means 4 pairs. So first I write lithium and chlorine. I can keep 1 electron pair. Out of the 4, 1 electron pair is used to formation of a single bond between lithium and chlorine. After that, I need to satisfy the octet configuration for chlorine. Then 2, 4, 6. Totally 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 pairs are completed because it is 1 electron and it is 7 electrons. Totally 8 electrons. 8 electron means 4 pairs. These 4 pairs are assigned to the lithium and chlorine. Like this, we are getting the structure. So when we see this, the chlorine getting the 8 electrons, but lithium getting only doublet electrons, that is 2 electrons. It is a configuration of helium. And here the 8 electrons is getting the octet configuration. But however, this molecule is said to be more stable without fulfilling the octet, because here lithium does not fulfill the which one? 2 electrons only, not fulfill the 8 electrons. Not only this one, let us take another example. Beryllium chloride is there or beryllium hydride is there. The another example, BeH2. In this case also, the beryllium, hydrogen and hydrogen is bonded with beryllium with a single bond. Because beryllium belongs to the second group element, so here only 2 valence electrons. In the case of hydrogen, 1, 1. Totally 4 valence electrons. 4 valence electrons means 2 pairs. That 2 pairs I am arranging between each hydrogen atom and beryllium. By that one, all the pairs are completed. So now when you see this one, hydrogen getting the doublet, okay, this hydrogen is also getting the doublet, but beryllium getting the 4 electrons. Here 4 electrons, here 2 electrons and 2 electrons. So here beryllium does not fulfill the octet configuration. And not only that one, the another example is boron chloride or BF3 or BCl3 or BH3. There are so many are there. So now when you see this boron is bonded to the 3 chlorine atoms. So each is one shared pair of electron. Here also shared pair of electron, and the remaining are assigned to each chlorine atoms to get the octet configuration. And we are directly writing the Lewis structure because you know very well how to write the Lewis structure for each molecule. The chlorine is having the 7 valency electrons. The 3 chlorines, 3 7s are 21. 21 plus boron belongs to the third group 13, 3 valency, totally 24. 24 electrons means 12 electron pairs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 electron pairs are arranged. When I am arranging the 12 electron pairs, so each chlorine atom is getting the octet configuration, but the central atom, this boron getting only the 6 electrons. Yet the central atom does not fulfill the electronic, the octet configuration. But there is some doubt can be raised. Why don't we shift the electron, one pair of electrons to between chlorine and boron? So, but the boron valency is maximum 3. So it never extended the 4. That's why we cannot possible to keep this electron pair between the chlorine and boron to form the one more bond to get the octet configuration. Because once we can keep here, the boron valencies become 4. But naturally, the boron can form only the 3 bonds. So here 6 electrons, that's why it is also not fulfill the octet. So that means your lithium chloride or beryllium compound or boron, okay, chloride. So in these all the cases, the central atom does not fulfill the octet configuration. When according to the octet rule, whichever it is not fulfill the octet configuration, that is getting the 8 electrons in their valency shell, that is generally said to be unstable. So, however, this lithium chloride or beryllium hydride or boron trichloride, all are said to be the stable molecule, even though they are not fulfill the octet configuration. That is could not explain by this rule why they are become stable, even though not fulfilling the octet rule. And comes to the next one, the expanded octet of the central atom. So, in the expanded octet of the central atom, let us take one example. So, in the third exception is, let us take one example, PF5. It is belongs to the group 15 family. The phosphorus is linked with 5 fluorine atoms. So now here each fluorine atom is having the 3 lone pair of electrons to fulfill the octet configuration. So now here around the phosphorus 5 shared pair of electrons are present. Because the phosphorus, the number of valency electrons are 5. In fluorine 7, 5 into 7, 35. So 35 plus 5, totally what is it? 40. 40 electrons means how many pairs? 20 pairs. Let you count how many pairs are present. On each fluorine, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Like that I am arranging the electron pairs. When I am arranging the electron pairs like this, all the fluorine atoms are getting the octet configuration. Let you see, 2, 4, 6, 8. Like that every fluorine atom getting the 8 electrons. But in the central atom, phosphorus, it is surrounded by the 5 electron pairs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 into 2, okay, nothing but 10 electrons. But generally, according to the octet rule, every atom must possess only 8 electrons in their valency shell. But here phosphorus is possessing the 10 electrons. But however, the PF5 exists as a stable molecule. That is why it is could not explained. Not only that one, there are some other molecules are also there. The example is SF6 molecule is there. SF6. In that one, the sulfur is connected to the 6 fluorine atoms. 6 fluorine atoms, F, F, and F, F, like it is there. And in that one, each fluorine atom, okay, getting the octet configuration. So each fluorine atom getting the octet configuration. But the sulfur is having the excess electrons, because around the sulfur how many are there? The 12 are there. 12 electrons are present. Here this phosphorus is 10 electrons. Here sulfur is 12 electrons are there around the sulfur. So that means it is also okay, not obey the octet rule, because excess number of electrons are there. Even though excess number of electrons are there, this SF6 molecule is said to be stable. So that means all the time the sulfur can form the more number of bonds. It does not obey the octet rule. Okay, no. In some of the molecules like sulfur dichloride is there. SCl2 molecule is there. When we write the Lewis structure for sulfur dichloride molecule, so each chlorine atom getting the octet configuration, and sulfur is also getting the octet configuration. That means the compounds which are formed by the sulfur always does not obey the octet rule is not a correct statement. In some of the compounds it obeys the octet rule, in some of the cases it does not obey the octet rule. Whether does it obey the octet rule or does not obey the octet rule, but all the molecules are said to be which one? Stable. So here it was failure, that octet rule was failure. Why? They are, even though they are violating the octet rule, why they are stable molecules? That is could not explained by the octet rule. So these in all the cases, in PF5 or SF6 or IF7, the one more example is also there, that is IF7. Around that iodine, the 7 fluorine atoms are there, each fluorine is linked with one bond. How many electrons are present? 14 electrons are present. Even the 14 electrons are present around the iodine, this molecule is said to be stable. Here iodine is okay, not valid the octet rule. Here the sulfur is also will be not obey the octet rule. Here phosphorus is also not obey the octet rule. But all the molecules are stable. Why all those molecules are stable even though they are not obeying the octet rule? That is could not explained by this octet rule. That is the third exception to the octet rule. And in the next one, the odd electron molecules. In some cases, like nitric oxide molecule is there, NO molecule. In the NO molecule, nitrogen is having the 5 valency electrons and oxygen is having the 6 valency electrons. Totally 11 valency electrons are present. These 11 valency electrons means we need to be arranged between the nitrogen and oxygen. So definitely we need to keep one bond between the nitrogen and oxygen. After that I will try to fulfill the octet configuration in this case. 2, 4 and 6. Total how many electrons are completed? So 2, 4, 6, 8. So 3 more electrons are there. That 3 electrons if I write like this, 1, 2, 3. So then here 2, 4, 6. This is getting the octet configuration because 8 electrons. But is it getting the octet configuration? No. Then what should I do is, suppose I will shift the one more electron pair to between the nitrogen and oxygen. Then what is that here? So 2, 4, 6, 8. Oxygen getting the 8 electrons. But what about the nitrogen? 2, 4, 6, 7. Only 7 electrons are there. Suppose somebody may raise the question, sir, I will keep one more electron pair here. If I keep one more electron pair here between the nitrogen and oxygen, oxygen can only form the how many bonds? 2 bonds only. That's why here 7 electrons are there and here how many electrons are there? 8 electrons are there. This is nitric oxide. Okay, in the nitric oxide, nitrogen is having 7 electrons around it, oxygen is having the 8 electrons. Oxygen can satisfy the octet configuration, but the nitrogen does not obey the octet rule. But however, this molecule is in another example, nitrogen dioxide, NO2 also. So the central nitrogen atom does not fulfill the octet configuration. So nitrogen is, oxygen is linked. One is with a double bond and another one is with single bond. Already 4 electrons are there. So 6 and 8. Here only one is there. I can keep. So the 3 pairs of electrons, 6 plus 2, 8. This is also getting the 2, 4, 6, 8. How many electron pairs are completed completely? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 to the 16. So but how many electrons are there in NO2? Nitrogen is having the 5 valency electrons. Each oxygen is having the 6, 2 into 6. So total is 17 electrons. Out of the 17 electrons, already the 16 electrons are used. So I can keep the last electron on the nitrogen. When I keep the last electron, 17th electron on the nitrogen, around the nitrogen, how many electrons are present? Here 2, 4, 6, 7. Again 7 electrons are there. Even though 7 electrons are present around the nitrogen dioxide is said to be stable. So that means here, odd electron molecules like NO or NO2 also, some of the atoms are fulfilling the octet configuration, but the central atom here like nitrogen does not fulfill the octet. However, it is said to be stable molecule. And also, so nowhere he does not speak about the shapes of the molecule. Just he was giving an idea how a covalent bond is formed between the two atoms. So while the formation of a bond between the two atoms, what type of the structure they are adopted, so that is not given the explanation by this octet rule. And also, whenever the molecules are present, which molecule is said to be more stable, which molecule is said to be less stable. So that is also could not explain in terms of energy by this octet rule. And in addition to these 6, the one more is also there. That is, the basic idea of this octet rule is based on the stable noble gas configuration. Initially in the first lecture I said very clearly. So the very first question, why do atoms are combined? So to answer this question, so the scientists were taken, the base is noble gas configuration. When we are observing the noble gases, they are having the 8 electrons in their valency shell, and that is configuration is said to be the most stable configuration. That's why almost all the noble gases are having the less tendency or zero tendency to combine with other atoms. But whereas in other elements, so in their valency shell, the 8 electrons are not present. That's why the other elements are having always try to combine with the other atoms to achieve the stable noble gas configuration or 8 electrons in their valency shell. But when we are observing in certain noble gases like xenon or krypton, these xenon and krypton are under drastic conditions like high temperature, high pressure. They may combine with oxygen and fluorine. They can form the different compounds like XeF2, XeF4, XeF6. Like that, certain compounds are formed by this xenon and krypton. So, but idea is based on which one? Noble gases. But however, these noble gases are reacted. So, why they are reacted even though having the 8 electrons in their valency shell? That is also could not explained by this octet rule. This is also the another drawback of octet rule. So, these are the certain exceptions, okay, about the octet rule. If the first one is hydrogen molecule, in the formation of hydrogen molecule, both the hydrogen atoms are getting the only 2 electrons around it. However, that molecules are said to be stable, even though they are not fulfilling the 8 electrons. And incomplete octet of the central atom, especially the group 1, group 2 and group 13 elements, okay, whatever the molecules are formed by those elements in that one, these grouped elements surrounded by either 2 electrons or 4 electrons or 6 electrons. That is, I can explain lithium chloride, beryllium hydride, boron trichloride. In those molecules around the central atom, the 2, 4, 6 valency electrons are present. However, that molecules are said to be stable, even though they are not following the octet rule. Expanded octet of the central atom. The group 15, group 16 and group 17 elements, whatever the molecules are formed by those respective group elements, around the central atom, more than 8 electrons are present. However, that molecules are said to be stable. They are not following the octet rule. Odd electron molecules. In the case of the odd electron molecules, nitric oxide or nitrogen dioxide, around the nitrogen atom, the 7 electrons are present. However, that molecules are said to be stable. So, okay, because they are not, even though not following the octet rule. And in addition to these 4, and this octet rule nowhere can explain about the shapes of the molecules or stability of the molecules in terms of energy. And another drawback of this octet rule is that some of the noble gases, even though having 8 electrons in their valency shell, they can be reacted with most electronegative atoms like oxygen and fluorine. So to this, okay, the exceptions, the answer was not given by the octet rule. Maybe the future coming theories might be explained. So why these molecules are stable even though they are not obeying the octet rule.